and re-elected as our local councillor in 2020 for the Wattle Ward, which is actually this particular area, of which I think we've got about 5 members in this little district, ward if you like, and is an engineer with further qualifications in law and business administration, and is active with a number of local clubs, including football, Lions and Rotary, but not yet amateur radio. In particular, we welcome him to our recently refurbished meeting space, especially our new kitchen, bathrooms and this beaut carpet that we're hoping to keep as clean as it is. The committee recently agreed to extend an invitation to Counsellor Devonport as a way to not only say thanks to Council, but also to demonstrate our own contribution to the building. As you can see, the painting and the IT infrastructure that's growing as we progress. So we're trying to make it into a great and active space for members and for those interested in the amateur radio hobby. As you can see, it's come a long way from the old and very tired Scout Hall, a place this club, some 250 odd members, has been associated with in some way, shape, form since mid-2008. So we've been around for a little while in this building. But importantly, I've done a little research, because I'm sure Andrew's done some research on us.
That could be dangerous.
So I note from Counsellor Davenport's CV on the City of Whitehorse website, and I think we can tick a few boxes of some of the items of his particular interest as noted on the website. And I say that, for example, improving amenities across Whitehorse. Now just have a look what we've done here. So I think we've got a tick there. Protecting the neighbourhood character, and this is not in your order, Andrew. But
Does that include the 12-element Yarkies on rooftops?
Oh, well, we're going to paint them green. So we've protected the neighbourhood character because this place has its own character, and we've maintained that as best we can. Enhancing parks, gardens and cycling infrastructure. Well, I know there are a few around here who will tell you that we do pick up the doggy doo from the park and put it in the bin. Increasing library services. Now nobody would deny that we've got an extensive and growing library downstairs. Delivering sound financial management. Now I'm pretty sure Andrew will confirm that we do manage to pay our council dues on time. In fact, our treasurer will probably say I think we're in credit at the moment, but enough of that. Delivering sound financial management. Yes, well that's where we were. Reducing the cost of living. Well, later on tonight you'll see that we have cheap coffee, but tonight we've spent up big on the good bickies. Encouraging female participation in sport. Now you might say this is an amateur radio sport. It certainly is in some aspects.
Contesting?
Yeah, we have a few female members, but none here tonight. But we'd welcome more. And there are some very active female amateurs in the fraternity. Promote continuous improvement culture. Well, we do provide training from foundation, advancing through to advanced within our organisation. And the last one I'll vouch for is that defending elderly services. Now, what can I say? Considering our demographic is approaching 60, I think we're doing a great job. But the final one is that at this point, I'm still working on Andrew's point of cutting business red tape. Now, I'm not sure that we've done so much in that area, but we'd love to. So great to have you here, Andrew.
Thank you.
Welcome, and look forward to hearing from you.
No worries at all. Thank you very much. Thanks, David. Well, thank you for that introduction, David. And before I kick off, I'll make sure that people on Zoom can hear me okay, because I won't be looking at the screen. I'm getting the thumbs up, so that's good. Well, it's very pleased to be here tonight. And see a repurposed Scout Hall being used by your club, because at the City of Whitehorse we do think about what to do with what we call privately constructed buildings, and a lot of these Scout Halls were privately constructed, and then council has been trying to repurpose halls over time. And I do understand from David that your club is the sole user of this facility. And I know that there are surrounding organisations like the Astronomical Society of Victoria that meet at Paris Street that's looking for other premises. Yep, okay. and there's probably a few other groups. So David, if you can point me in the direction of the appropriate member for your committee, maybe other groups can be part of this particular hall and help spread the cost amongst multiple user groups. And what we try and do with council is upgrade the facilities that we have. So we have a capital works program where a couple of the privately constructed buildings are upgraded or at least refurbished on a certain cycle, and it's based on the condition of the facility itself. And so the works for the bathrooms and the kitchen and the carpet is part of that council budget allocation. Now, in one way, being a councillor is sort of a little bit easier because I always like to keep the rates quite low, and the state government's put a cap. So the arguments of the past on how much of a rate rise would be has sort of disappeared. But it means that council can now concentrate on becoming more efficient in its operations to be able to maintain a healthy amount of surplus, not profit, but that's used for our capital work programs and renewing of our assets. Now, I don't live that far away from this particular hall. I walked here today, and when I was thinking about what I'd talk about, I thought I'd talk a little bit about when I was younger, when I was in Ventures in Scouts, because that was just prior to the mobile phone coming out, or I should say the mobile phone being cheap enough for the ordinary person like myself to afford. And so as venturers, we used to use the UHF CB radio, and I also had the benefit of being able to what I would call reverse engineer a Yankee beam antenna. So measuring it up and cutting the aluminium tubes.
Elements.
Yes, the elements. Well, I called it the tubing, and then the beam element, and then connecting it up to the coax. So, although that was not amateur radio, that was a citizen band. There was a little bit of how would you say it? More than just buying things off the shelf when I was younger. And it was something that amateur radio appealed to me when I was younger, and I started to research it, but I got a bit scared off at the time because of the Morse code component. But I understand that that requirement has reduced.
It's been dropped completely.
And it's now gone. Well, that's pleasing to hear. So let's see how I go at the end of my council term, to see how I go in amateur radio after that point in time, because council is quite busy at the moment. I'll talk a little bit about council generally and what's going on, if you'd like. Is most people here from the City of Whitehorse area or around? Then I'm going to keep it quite broad. So quite at the moment, local government's going through the council rates and budget. Every council is doing that, Whitehorse and Monash, and that's where clubs like yourself can give feedback to the budget. So if you're wanting additional work done for this particular facility, then if you make a submission, I'll keep an eye out for it. In terms of clubs like yourself, you would get the ability to put in what we call community grants, so funding for certain types of activities. During the COVID time, I know that we had a program where any user of our halls and facilities basically had their utility bills wiped. I'm not sure if you got that grant. You did?
It's coming, I think.
It's coming?
John will tell you that. I'm pretty sure it's coming.
That's good. And that was something that we did as councillors, because we recognised that when community groups couldn't meet, then we should help with that and reduce that cost burden for the group. And I was very pleased that we were able to do that. So I think I'll ask if there's any questions generally that you might have of me, because I don't want to be here and talk about things you may not be interested in.